When a nation fails, there is never a single factor behind it. Of course, commonsensical wisdom does tell us that, but that has been largely missing from media headlines. We do not know why very few media outlets have dared to delve deep into the immediate cause of the Sri Lanka crisis. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host, Tejasvi Malhotra, and if you haven't subscribed to the TFI English channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive all the latest updates. Coming back to the story, I'm here to tell you why Sri Lanka degenerated earlier than expected. Based on the understanding of the course of evolution, we have a suggestion for you. Do not ever mess with hungry people. Hungry people are desperate. Hungry people have an unstable nervous system. Hungry people are dangerous. Hungry people have their self-centered animalistic instincts turned on. They are the most potent destabilizing force currently present on the planet Earth. This is what Western countries failed to understand. As it turned out, hunger caused by wokeness is probably the biggest culprit of Sri Lanka crisis. It is tough to believe, but situation was not so bad in Sri Lanka which could cause a regime change, and that too by the force of the masses. Yes, the country was under huge foreign debt. Yes, Sri Lanka was finding it tough to maintain foreign reserves, but every country is under foreign debt. Case in point, in May 2022, public debt of the United States was $30.49 trillion. Talking about the forex reserve problem, India also faced similar issues in 1991, but it was resuscitated, without any forced regime change, of course. So, what exactly went wrong which forced the Lankans to topple the government which they had chosen in the first place? The answer is that Lankans are hungry. Apparently, it was their government which kept them hungry, but just because they wanted to be in good books of Western countries. Western countries are under huge guilt for climate change crisis. But the problem is so deeply rooted in their nation's existence that they don't want to experiment with new ways, apparently because that can lead their whole economy to collapse. So they choose experimental labs for their new ideas. Sri Lanka was one of them. They have been pushing for organic farming in the country. Papers were being published to give credence to the deadly experiment. In 2016, Joseph Stiglitz, termed as one of the dumbest people on planet Earth by Fox News journalist Tucker Carlson, published an article named "What Next for Sri Lanka?" In the article, he asked them to adapt to organic farming. According to Stiglitz, Lankans had a high educational level and it would be easier for them to do so. Now, keep in mind, Stiglitz published this article in spite of knowing that 90 to 94% of main crops produced in Sri Lanka, like paddy, tea, rubber, among others, were heavily dependent on chemical fertilizers for higher crop yield. Moreover, Sri Lanka's capacity to produce organic fertilizer was only 2 to 3 million tons, while its requirement was way higher than this number. Naturally, import was the only option. But the lobby kept going on, and in 2019, Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the newly elected president, decided to end Lanka's dependence on organic fertilizer in 10 years. But 2 years later, out of nowhere, Rajapaksa announced that importing chemical fertilizers is illegal. Rajapaksa did not even listen to protests by farmers who were demanding time for implementing it. As a result of non-cooperation from the government, 33% of agricultural land remained unused. 85% of those who dared to sow witnessed crop losses. The loss was in the range of 50 to 60%. Rice production fell by 20%, causing a rise in food inflation. The country used $450 million of its depleting forex reserve to import rice. Moreover, the country failed to bring in $425 million of forex reserve as its tea plantations also took extreme hits. Some products also witnessed a 5 times increase in their price. Now, keep in mind this was happening when government's unpopularity was at its peak. People were fed up with the pro-China policy of Sri Lankan government. Rather than working on improving economy, which was in tatters due to a decline in tourism and COVID-19, government was busy paying China's debt. But hunger takes over any emotion. Hungry people have only two options: first one is eliminating hunger. And if that is not possible, they eliminate those who kept them hungry. That is what Sri Lankans did.